This is for Tupac.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set, go.
So, Child's Play. We finally get a remake to this classic horror tale from what we remember back in the 1980s, even onto this current day. We've had so many sequels, a lot of great films, a lot of disappointments. So when it comes to this newly developed story of Child's Play, the Chucky character, it's all a different story. All within its own different direction, away from the current story that has Brad Dourif doing the voice of the very terrible serial killer doll Chucky. So, and right now that it's still going on as we know it. I mean, there's going to be a TV series of the Brad Dourif Chucky version. On MTV, I believe it's going to be on. So I don't know when, but I'm very much looking forward to it because I've been a huge fan of the Chucky character and all of its films, especially when it comes to this one. So when it comes to this one, it doesn't have anything to do with voodoo magic, nothing about soul transfers. This is all technical. We're all going AI on this. Instead of having the serial killer transferring its soul from a human body to a toy doll, now we're dealing with an out-of-control AI artificial technical doll. So this doll was there's this whole shipment of dolls being manufactured on the other side of the world in China, and there happens to be one co-worker who very much has dealt with life to its very fullest. So he tends to go ahead and, I mean, it seems very ridiculous just having to just even talk about it, but having to watching it as well, I really didn't feel as well satisfied with that story arc of just this individual character out of nowhere who happens to just go ahead and delete all the programmings to this AI doll and then kill himself. So I really didn't like that, but you know, it's part of the film. And I really do like where it goes to after that, because now the doll is in the possession of the very favorable victim, Andy, which is played by Gabriel Bateman. And I think that he did an amazing job, this Bateman guy, because he was just phenomenal. I mean, I really do love his acting performances in this movie. I believe that this is his introduction. I haven't seen him in anything else, but I really do admire on how well his character was developed. I really do love on how they made him very different compared to what we remember in the original Child's Play, making him with the little hearing aid there that gives somewhat of a connection to the Chucky doll. And the mother being played by Aubrey Plaza, not Audrey Plaza, Aubrey Plaza, and she's a very familiar actress nowadays in the world of Hollywood. No one would have first chosen her to play the mother, but I believe that she did great as the mother in this movie as well. Even though that she doesn't really stand out as well as the original mother from the Child's Play original film, but I think that her performance in this movie really picked up a notch enough to say that it was a great and brilliant performance. And then we also get Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Agent Norris, who somewhat plays more of a comedic type. He plays a detective in this movie, and he has some similar connection to what happens when these occurrences start to occur with Chucky having to murder some of his victims. So, and I thought that he was an okay character. You know, it's something that they had to include in order to get things a little bit more top-notch. And then, you know, this movie, it's directed by Lars Kleberg. I'm not familiar with his work. I've never seen any of the other films that he's got involved in, but I really did enjoy this film very highly. It is a movie that not most people are very overly fond of, even though the Chucky character is a character that that is very favored upon, has a lot of fans. But I believe that everyone is still connected to the idea of the doll being a serial killer murderer whose soul is transferred into the doll. I don't think that anyone has accepted the fact of the idea of this being an AI character. In which cases, like I said, Brad Dourif is not back for this. He's not voicing the character of Chucky. So that way they could get the audiences to understand and accept the fact that this version of Chucky has no connection at all whatsoever to the original films. So instead of having Brad Dourif doing the voice, we've got Mr. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, aka Batman the Animated Series version of the Joker, one of my favorite Jokers of all time. The voice is phenomenal, and I would have never have guessed first that they would pick Mark Hamill to do the voice of Chucky. To be honest with you, I almost was in the realm of thinking that they were going to get Ryan Reynolds to do this, because they got him to voice Pikachu in the live action Pokemon movie. So, and I would not have been surprised if they did pick Ryan Reynolds to do it. It would have been interesting. But I think that Mark Hamill did an amazing job doing the voice of Chucky. You know, it's nowhere close to similar to what we remember with Brad Dourif's performances, but I think that within his version, you know, you don't really get a Joker vibe. You just get that, you know, not even a Chucky vibe. You just get this very stalkerish, you know, very creepy vibe based off of the voice of what Mark Hamill performs within this character. So I really did like it. I really did. I found the movie to be highly interesting. There was a lot of funny moments which really kept me entertained. There's a lot of creepy moments. There's a lot of, you know, I wasn't scared out of my seat type of terrified in this movie. I just felt really creeped out. You know, this doll, it's not from what we remember being an actual Chucky doll. It's really creepy. If it was within our modern time right now, if this were to actually occur, I don't really think it'd be a very popular product for customers to wanting to buy, because it's really creepy. It looks very similar to those little dolls that you remember, like from the movie Team America. So you know, those string dolls. It looks just like that, and those things kind of creep me out. So, I was never overly fond of the look. You know, it doesn't look very doll-like. It doesn't look very Chucky-like. Speaking of the name Chucky, this is something that I don't understand. That really took me away from the film. Is the fact that when Andy is introduced to the Chucky doll, you know, Andy is given the option as to what he wanted to name this doll. So, and in the original Chucky movies, the Chucky name was already programmed to the doll having its own specific name. So in this one, he had the option. And what did he choose? He chose the name Han Solo, which is, of course, in connection to Mark Hamill being the voice and related to the Star Wars franchise. But the thing is that the doll chooses to choose the name Chucky instead of Han Solo. Where did the Chucky name come from? I mean, it would have been very interesting if we had some connection as to the reasons why the name Chucky was chosen for this doll. But there was no explanation. There was no interreasonings as to why, you know, he decided to choose this name. If there was anything that was, you know, in relation to saying that, oh yes, I'm gonna be called this name because it rhymes with the name that you almost chose for me, you know, so that would have made a lot of sense. You know, this movie kind of reminds me of one of my favorite movies of all time, Bicentennial Man, starring Robin Williams. You know, it's kind of like that film, only if that android were to have turned serial killer. But my point is that when the character Andrew from the Bicentennial Man movie, the character Andrew, he's an android, and the little girl, she mixed up her words, believing to hear Andrew instead of Android, so that's where they picked the name Andrew for the robot. So, and I thought that it would have really made sense if they did something similar to that. But unfortunately, like I said, the Chucky name didn't come from anywhere. It was just out of the blue. So, and I didn't really like that. But the thing is, I love this movie. It's really great. I had a lot of fun. You know, the majority of the film isn't really horror based. It's kind of more to where this doll is at its very beginnings. It's kind of like an origin story. You know, just getting to witness on how this little doll, you know, it learns to acknowledge everyday life, to what the kids are entertained with, to what makes his owner Andy happy, because he's trying to be his best friend. He's doing what he's what he's made for, to being his owner's best friend, because Andy started off being this lonely child, and now that he's got this doll being his best friend, and now Andy has learned to socialize with other kids, with those children becoming his best friend. Now Chucky is just jealous. You know, it's taken away his very meaning of his existence. So that's where he starts becoming very curious as to what it is that he can do to win Andy's attention. So he notices these horror movies like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's so funny, this whole thing with Tupac thing. I mean, it's just those are one of the funny things about this film. And when I saw that, I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys went there. But like I said, funny film. I had a great time with it. The thing is that I felt like this movie should have been something else, something of its own. I don't feel like that this movie should have been entitled to Child's Play. It should have been entitled to something else. I don't think that they should have branded this movie with that name. It felt like its own movie, away from anything connected to the Child's Play, title, or anything in particular similar to what we remember. Because otherwise it would take a lot of audiences away from this film, in which cases it did, because this movie was made with $9 million and they made only $44 million. They did make their profit, but it's not good enough to probably make anything close to a sequel. I would love to see a sequel. I would love to see what they have in store for this franchise. I was very favorable of the film. I would love to see it go further. It's a lot of people were expecting to seeing this Chucky, doing the very memorable, Chucky laugh, or just anything very sinister. You don't really get to see any of that probably within the last 10 to 15 minutes of the film. And I really do love on how it ends, because it just comes to where you think that the Chucky doll could be destroyed, but in fact it's still alive and out there and waiting to continue on with its mission. And while he's in development of trying to become of what he is, sometimes I felt sorry for it. There's some horrific, creepy moments, to where he did deserve to get destroyed. But there was just some times where I just felt very sorry for it. It's like a baby, a baby that misunderstands its concepts. Anything that it acknowledges, it misunderstands and happens to make mistakes. So it's just like an average human being. Does that mean that human being needs to be destroyed? No, it just needs to be acknowledged with a very different explanation. So that's how I felt about that. I mean, I really did feel sorry at some moments of the film for this Chucky doll. I think it deserved more than what it received from the film. So on Rotten Tomatoes, they went ahead and gave this movie actually a really good rating, to where I thought it was going to actually be a lower rating. They gave it a 64%. For me, I actually liked the film a little bit more, of getting in a 75%. I really did enjoy this film. I'm very much looking forward to seeing if there's a possible sequel into the future. But other than that, you guys, I'm still a big fan of the Child's Play series. I'm looking forward to seeing what the TV show has in store. Hopefully there's a future sequel to this one. Other than that, you guys, that's my review for Child's Play 2019. What did you guys think? Did you guys go ahead and check out this film? If you did, leave me any questions, comments, complaints, or concerns in the comment section at the bottom, and let me know what you guys think about this film, because I love to talk about movies, but more importantly, I love to talk about them with you. So don't forget, you can check out some more videos on my YouTube and Facebook channel. Just go ahead and look me up at Awesome Joe Movie Reviews. Don't forget to click on the like and subscribe button for me. That is very helpful, and I highly do appreciate that, you guys. But other than that, I'm Awesome Joe. Thank you guys so much once more again. Keep on living the dream, and as always, stay awesome. Thanks you guys once more again, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.